to get into more personal than that, so don't have any questions. The first time I could remember anything about motorcycle, I lived in Rice Lake, Wisconsin. We left Rice Lake in 1922, after I had just turned 2 years old. And I can remember the kids next door to us had a bunch of racing motorcycles, like Celsius and Indians, and a whole bunch of those old things. Back in that, so that would have been in 21 and 22. Real early, because we left up there in June. Yeah, May of 1922. I can remember sneaking over behind our house, and all these kids had these motorcycles. They had hill climbers and straight pipes and all that stuff. I can remember hiding behind a tree when I was 2 years old, and I can still see those kids working on those motorcycles when I was 2 years old. My whole life, I've always been interested in motorcycles. Great fun. Then Margaret come along, my main interest changed. But I still like motorcycles, airplanes, and Margaret in the reverse order. I hope you people know you have the finest motorcycle club in the world represented here with the Motor Maids. The finest motorcycle club in the world. When I make that statement, there's no sense in arguing with me because I'm going to beat anything that you can talk about. Anyway, this is my dear wife, Margaret, and I think I'll stay with her forever. I'll tell you one thing. First, I just had a flashback here a couple years ago. The first time I saw Margaret, I was working at a Texaco filling station. I was 18 years old, and I saw this cute little chickie waiting on the corner of the bus, and I later found out it was Margaret. So, that's the way things go. Margaret, say a word.
What can I say after that? I want to thank Christina and all of the board and people who were involved that voted for Mike and me. And I want to tell everybody that I love my motorcycling friends, every one of them. And you probably saw Charlie come up and say good morning to us. Hadn't seen him for a couple of years. He spotted us and came to talk to us. And that was wonderful. Thank you, Charlie. And now I want to tell you my first time in Sturgis. Back in 1952, 1951, I joined Motor Maids and was able to, in June, go to the National Annual Convention and enjoyed that from Cedar Rapids, Iowa to Freeport, Illinois, which was a short jaunt for me. But for my first one, maybe it was a kind of a long one. But then in 1952, National Convention was at Chattanooga, Tennessee. And so we were in the store and real busy, and we were having a lot of company, and I was going around, I can't go to convention. So Mike listened to me, but then my sister was going to come to visit, and so Mike asked me if I'd like to invite her to go along with me to Sturgis. The Motor Maids had been invited to come to Sturgis and help take tours through the hills. And I said, oh, I can't go because my sister's coming. And he said, well, I'll put the sidecar on your motorcycle and maybe she will go. She was a newly made widow, lost her husband in Korea, and she had 2 little boys, 2.5 and 4.5 years old. So I invited her, and she said, sure, I'll go with you. We'll take the boys and go. So we put army blankets in the bottom of the sidecar, and the little boys had their naps every day, and we took good care of them. And, I tried to make the club, trip interesting for them, and we made it just fine. I have a lot of visions of our stay in Sturgis and the Black Hills at that time. And it was wonderful.
Another little story from Margaret. She was out to California to Santa Ana to the Motor Maid Convention. What year was that, Margaret?
1959.
1959. She left, come across the country in Lubbock, Texas. She, one of the motor maids was riding with Margaret, and she
Had to drop
dropped
her
her
off.
off. And she went to Brook Burnett and stayed with some old friends of ours that were friends, our neighbors when we lived in San Antonio, Texas. And I was instructing after the war, instructing flying at Randolph Field, Texas for the military. And so Margaret headed for home that one morning with a sidecar all alone. And she come up to get caught in Kansas running 85 miles an hour on the highway. The policeman thought it was a little guy. Called her little buddy. You know? She took off her helmet and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, miss." And he was quick putting the billfold back, his ticket book back in his pocket. You know? He said, "Wait, please slow down a little bit." At midnight, she rang the doorbell in our house. I was in bed, fast asleep. I opened the door, and there she was at midnight. She was in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, 856 miles in the sidecar all by herself. Stopped once before too, and he was swearing. There was two guys in a motorcycle, and he pulled out his ticket. He started to write, and Margaret took her helmet off, and yippee, he put the bill ticket away again because he was swearing. Anyway, got a good friend of mine when I was an expert dirt track racer. This kid over here, Bobby Cavachi, was a novice and an amateur. And him and Leo Payne were learning how to race. Anybody in here know who Leo Payne is?